Good evening, folks. It is Sunday, and we are getting ready for some minor league esports action with some threes. Starting off with the Academy League Bears at the Comets. And my name is Ice Cold Brew. We are being sponsored by APM Music. APM Music is the premier place to go for all the fantastic beats we're listening to. And joining me in the commentary booth, first time I get to work with him, is Boss Rodala. Boss, how are you doing tonight?
You know, I'm doing pretty good. Weather's been holding up. It's not snowing where I'm at anymore, so it's always solid. But ready to watch some good Rocket League today.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch some Rocket League, and I'm a little interested to see how this plays out because I looked at the standings. Right now, Bears are 7-8 in the regular season, while the Comets are 5-10, starting a bit on their back foot. And the Comets got swept last week against their opponents, the Spectre, and an 0-5 and 3 specifically. And then Bears lost out 4-1 against the Outlaws. So it's going to be interesting to see how they change up their strategy coming into this match and what they do differently overall. Do you have any preferences over who you think is going to take the competition so far? I'm feeling a little bit more Bears personally, but...
See, I would normally see the Bears, but anybody who watched my cast yesterday knows that I'm not super accurate with it. I've been wrong every time so far. So we'll prefer not to say names yet. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and just calling out folks on the field right now, the Bears have put on the lineup Trash Panda, Sleepy Beepy, and Peak Legend. Peak Legend and Sleepy Beepy at the very top of the chart at a 12.5, with Trash Panda coming in at the entry frag of 10.5. And then over on the comment side, we have Aspect, who recently ranked up and is also 10.5, with Undead, another 10.5, and Stoofy at the top of the chart at a 12. And now with that going into game one, we are going to start it off with the Comets winning the kickoff on that and getting it right around Sleepy Beepy. Stoofy takes the first goal off the kickoff from Aspect.
Oh my goodness, 3 seconds in game one. I mean, we didn't even have a chance to finish talking about kind of like the backstory for the games. We were already cut off by a goal, and I'm flabbergasted at how well that paid out. Aspect taking the kickoff again, Peak putting it to the corner. I mean, you gotta wonder, Cole, looking at this here, are we gonna see a really aggressive press from the Comets just to kind of stifle out the Bears here?
I think so. I think the Bears weren't ready for that hyper aggression from the Comets. They just came streaking in and honed in on that goal off the kickoff there, not paying any mind to Sleepy Beepy's dominance that he's running around in right now with the strawberry top, the corn cob wheels, and the Santa holiday boost. I am so confused by Sleepy Beepy's car. I love it. Hopefully
that's how you assert dominance.
That's how you assert dominance, and hopefully that distraction works out in the long run. But right now, Comets 1 point up, back pass to Stoofy. Stoofy takes the ball, sends it off to the side. Sleepy Beepy up in the air, Undead jumps for it, cannot get there in time. Aspect a little bit too far ahead. Stoofy tries to dive onto the post, cannot find it, and now Peak Legend takes this chance to get another goal and tie it back up for the Bears.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw the first shot go past. It didn't look like anybody was there to finish. I was real nervous they were gonna be able to capitalize on their first opportunity for a goal, but somehow, some way, Peak Legend puts it top left and just slots that perfectly. Peak Legend pushing it back center. Stoofy going along with it here. Gets the dunk, playing aggressive, might be able to get it past, but no, Trash Panda stops it. Undead putting it off backboard. Peak putting it against the wall. We're seeing a lot of little ping pong action, trying to get it past the opponent's defense, but not a lot of success from either side. Trash Panda off the wall. Aspect misses. Undead takes possession. Goodness gracious, we're seeing it again. A lot of testing it out in the center with two explosive 1-2 jabs early on. Sleepy up, might be able to get the goal. Oh, it follows. Peak Legend with the follow. Oh, goodness. Ooh, I was about to say, it looks like they were going to back off, but no, they kept the press, Cole. They kept the press right there nicely.
And that's just a smart rotation between Peak and Sleepy Beepy. Sleepy Beepy jumped up, forcing Undead to make that really awkward jump, and that was a double commit coming from the Comets as well. Throws off the entire rotation, leaving Aspect trying to grab some boost and not able to get back to the goal in time. And Peak Legend just playing it patient. Now Sleepy Beepy puts it off the crossbar, gets boomed out by, I believe that was Stoofy. Undead sends it off to the side, and that's something you kind of notice in these low champ, mid champ games, and you kind of know the difference in skill level as well too. A lot of these players will start booming the ball a lot more, but the more talented, the more focused players will take their time, prevent those booms, and keep control, especially now, because the Comets should recognize booming the ball completely out of the way and trying to shoot from all the way downtown is not working in their favor. Aspect with the save off the shot from Sleepy BP, but Trash Panda almost puts it back on. Peak Legend tries to come in off the side. Aspect pops it a little bit too far. Now has to try and challenge Sleepy BP, and Stoofy is stepping back. Undead challenges it in the corner. Dangerous position to be in, but fortunately Stoofy is there to get the save, sends it back upfield, and now needs to get back in defensive position. Aspect challenging Peak Legend once more.
Well, what you said definitely is right. I mean, you've got a lot of people just taking some deep boom shots, not really pushing any hesitations or any dribble moves. Peak Legend getting to punish off of that missed defensive touch there from who was that? Is that Stoofy off the wall here? Stoofy and Undead, unfortunately unable to get the touch. Peak Legend finishing out the hat trick. But you're right. I mean, it's a lot of just lack of control, just taking those deep shots, and it's not paying out. Sleepy BP taking the 50 here. Stoofy following, gets it past Peak Legend. Undead's already putting a shot on target. It bounces over. Stoofy pops the Aspect, but Trash sits patiently on that back post rotation, and it pays off, blocking it, just being a big body for a second. Stoofy dropping it down. Sleepy taking the shot. Nobody's back to play defense. It pops corner, goes out, peeks up. It's a goal. Pete getting the fourth in game one. Oh my God.
And I feel bad for Stoofy. Like, he was trying to get a good, safe touch out there, but he just pops it right in front. And Peak, anticipating that touch, is already soaring through the air at the half-court mark and takes that goal. And now we have 4-1 in the Bears' favor.
I don't know how to respond. I mean, one person... My hesitation to speak, Aspect taking a second goal here. I was going to say, I'm not used to seeing one person in a threes match taking over. I've seen it in twos, but definitely not threes that often.
Yeah, but the one person taking over, it's because he's getting set up so often. We have missed rotations coming from the Comets. We have people pulling out of the back post a bit too soon, giving those opportunities. And Trash and Sleepy BP are just looking for Peak to get that setup going. Peak is just waiting for the other team to make a mistake and then just pounds the ball into the back of the net, trying to teach them to pay attention, mind where your rotation is, do better. And now Peak backs off, looking for the bump, gets bumped by one of the Comets. Now Stoofy is trying to get it over. Peak jumps up, realizing he's last man back, but now Sleepy puts it forward. Aspect, good save, sends it off to the side, tries to get another touch off the wall, has a little bit more time, passes up to Undead. Undead sends it off to the corner, but no one's there to pick up the call. Peak Legend playing it safe, bounces off of Undead though. Sleepy BP gets another touch there, but gets blocked by the Comets going back into that corner.
Trash Panda getting the pop, sacrificing themselves for the greater good of the team to keep it down. Peak sends it back a little too far. Sleepy's in an awkward position. That's going to be another goal. Undead following with the punish. And you're right. It's definitely been rotational issues that have been catching some of these goals randomly. Because like Sleepy there pushed up just a little too far, and there was nobody to follow that pass. I don't know if it was just miscommunication or if it was just maybe a little bit too much heat on the pass, but it definitely didn't pay off. Peak losing the 50 there. Aspect easily shoving it through. It's going to bounce ceiling. Stoofy's going to get a shot, but Peak shuts it down. Plays patiently, goes for the wall pinch, doesn't get it through. Stoofy stops it. Undead takes a shot. Sleepy's going to get it. Stoofy's going to pop it back off the wall. This is probably their last chance for a goal, but Sleepy shutting it down, ending game one. In favor of the Bears. I mean, it definitely, with the way Peak was playing today, it looked like it was going to be a Bears win for sure.
And how accurate was Peak? 4 for 4 goals to shot. All 4 of those goals coming from passes from his own team, with some missteps in rotation, some bad touches on blocks, unable to clear the ball out, unable to control it. Peak worked in tandem with this team and just focused on that rotation, focused on waiting for that mistake, and that's what got them this lead. Granted, I'm going to give credit to the Comets here. They were able to find when the Bears over-rotate, when they pushed up too far, when they got a little bit too excited about having that lead. And then we're starting to get goals on their own, but unfortunately, too little, too late. I'm anticipating a little bit more speed from the Comets in the next game, and I expect them to have a little bit more control over the ball as well, too, just based on how this game 1 went.
Well, and you're right. The Comets, they definitely counterattacked very well, but they need to establish some sort of their own offensive presence because they only took 6 shots compared to the Bears took 12. I mean, they were outpacing them the entire game. And yeah, even though they got burned a few times on some bad rotational play, it definitely paid off in just establishing an offensive presence.
And now the question is, can the Comets pick up the pace, pick up that tempo, and start running down the Bears in that game as we go into game 2 here on Neo Tokyo? 5 minutes on the clock, and we're going to have a Comets almost winning out on that kickoff there, but Trash Panda tries to put the ball right into the net off the cusp immediately. But now Peak Legend pops it onto the corner. It's focusing on keeping that ball up high in the air to Sleepy BPs. And now Peak sees Undead get that touch. Sleepy gets another touch to follow. It's trying to get it down to the corner. Aspect, a bit of a mistouch there, puts it right back, and Stoofy's there to block the shot. But now we have the Bears going for another goal. Unfortunately, Sleepy keeps it towards the side there. And now almost an opportunity for a breakaway for the Comets here. Trash Panda missing the touch. Stoofy's looking for a pass down, going to send it right down to his team, but comes off the ceiling a bit too fast, too quick. But maybe Undead can put a shot in, blocked by Peak Legend.
My goodness, I thought Undead was going to get an uncontested shot, but I don't know how they did it, just floating in the air, swatted that away. Peak waiting patiently, might be a problem. Undead playing the pressure already. They get the pinch, it gets past third man. Stoofy's the only one back, gets the touch. Peak takes control, Sleepy pops it over one, dribbles past another with a good 50. Undead's up to contest it, puts it off the wall though. That's going to leave it for Peak to take control. Goes for the 50 with Stoofy, sends it across to Aspect. That's going to be a shot on net. Trash already up. Man, we are seeing a lot of explosive shots here, but it seems to be a little too premature, not really taking control, playing more safe. As I'm saying, oh my God, as I was saying that Undead had the infield pass opportunity. Cole, as I'm watching this, it looks like they're trying to play more aggressive, but they're not playing a smart aggression. It's definitely just in a full front random aggression.
It feels that way, and I think that's just because they want to throw off the Bears' momentum. They want to make them think twice before pushing, and it's almost working. That shot from Undead, even though it didn't go in, he was at the right place at the wrong time, unfortunately, but that's definitely where you want to be for those passes, and that's definitely how you want to pressure the defender. And good 50 there from the Bears. Stoofy having to wait for that touch from Trash Panda. Now Peak Legend gets another 50 popped up high. Trash Panda is trying to send it forward. Aspect keeps it right behind Trash. Unfortunately, the Bears are already on top of it. That ball's falling in front of the net. Trash jumps for it, comes off the backboard. Stoofy pops it up high. And now Stoofy waiting for the touch from Aspect. Peak plays it back. Good call, but Sleepy BP comes in, gets a save. Now Aspect puts a shot that's close to net, just needs to get another touch in, and Trash Panda is just a bit too deep into the goal, gives that first goal to the Comets.
And you gotta wonder, with the score opening up, the finally getting the first goal to actually occur in this game with 2 minutes and 9 left, how is the Bears defense rotation going to hold up? Are they going to regain and shrug that one goal off, or is that going to maybe open up some additional mental opportunities for the Comets? Sleepy getting the push. They're all up. Everybody's there. Once again, Stoofy shoves it across. Undead up off the wall. It's going to go backboard. That's sitting high. They're in danger. Sleepy getting a little bit of a clear. Gets the second follow-up touch. Hanging out in the air, waiting for it. Stoofy putting it into the corner. It's going to bounce. A little bit of Comets danger here. They got to get some contests. Stoofy and Aspect both double committing into the air here. They got to get it off their half. If they give the Bears this many opportunities, we're going to see a goal.
And I would tend to agree with you, but I feel like the Bears have started tripping over each other a little bit. There was an easy corner shot for Sleepy, but Sleepy lost control of the ball, and Peak was just right under him. For, in my opinion, in a bad spot, just did not help out the team in the long run. Peak with a soft touch, almost gets it in, but Aspect anticipating on the backboard, gets a good clear, and unfortunately Bears aren't able to take advantage of that. As Undead gets 50 by the Bears, Stoofy's looking for another goal to pad this lead with a minute coming down. Right now, Comets are posed to win. They just need to keep this defensive rotation in mind. But Peak Legend is peaking, comes off the backboard and taps it in for a tie.
I was kind of nervous. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that bar down, that bar sometimes can be your best friend or your worst enemy, and this time it was Peak's best friend. I have seen far too many shots ping off that crossbar to get too hyped in the moment. Undead and 50 taking the touch. Peak putting it up high. That's off backboard. Might be able to put a second shot on net. It's wide left. Oh no! Aspect takes control, playing it patiently, going wide. Gets the 50. Unable to get the second 50 there. It's going out. Undead's in a tough situation. That might be a second goal. It shoots right. Trash is there to play cleanup. And we get the second goal. The tides turn so quickly in favor of the Bears. Cole, 21 seconds left. Do you see the Comets being able to regain after giving up 2 goals?
It's hard to guess right now because they have the potential to come back with it. They've had some good shots. I would just, at this point, be hyper aggressive, just start pushing and pushing. But I say that, but unfortunately, we see plays like that where Peak Legend fakes out the defender and then gets a little help from the Comets trying to block that shot. And Stoofy was coming in on that and just kind of pounds it in a little bit tighter than Peak was aiming for. Folks, if you saw any plays that you liked here, if you saw any fantastic plays, if you think Peak Legend is also at the absolute peak game style and gameplay for AL, hit !POTW in the chat to submit some plays of the week to Open Net as well. Live Wednesdays at 6:30 EST as we wind down Game 2 in favor of the Bears.
I don't know how to respond. I was sitting there rooting for the Comets. You always want to see an OT, makes games interesting, but that hesitation, that fake had me out of my seat moving the wrong way. I don't know how to respond to that, honestly. That was just a fantastic play. But you got to wonder for the Comets going into Game 3, what the mentality check's going to have to be. I mean, I know they're going to have to fix the rotation. I know they're going to have to fix the aggression, play a little bit more aggressive there to exploit the Bears defense. But it's I'm at a loss for what the Comets are going to be able to do for that, Cole.
Well, the first thing that you have to focus on is communicating a little bit more clearly. Who has ball? Who is going to dive on it? And if you say you're going to dive on the ball, commit to it. Don't just immediately turn around and say, oh, I'm faking it, actually. If you're going to commit in threes, you have to commit in threes, but make sure you're not the last one back. If you leave that entire back half undefended because you decide to dive on the ball and your team hasn't rotated out yet, you're done. And I think we're just seeing the Bears jumping on that. We saw Undead scrambling to get the ball back and barely able to get a block, but comes off the post and goes right to Trash Panda from that pass, just from Sleepy Beepy to Trash Panda, getting them that second goal in the game. And then Peak Legend coming in and just challenging and being anticipating the touches in the air and just giving soft touches, faking out the defenders. They can't have that happen. You need to have someone bump off Peak and then have another person there to help out. Trash Panda almost getting fancy with it, going for a goal, but Stoofy saves it off the first one. Now Peak trying to get a touch off the crossbar. Cannot find it, but Sleepy Beepy might be able to give it a soft touch. The first goal, 14 seconds have gone by in the match too.
I cannot believe what just occurred there. I saw 3 great opportunities for a defensive stop within the first 15 seconds of the game. And none of them could get the touch. They're still mentally in the end of Game 2. Trash is already up, doesn't get the touch, but I mean, they're keeping the pressure. This ball is almost exclusively set up residency on the Comets half. Like, it has been brutal to start off the first 30 seconds of this game. Aspect finally getting an opportunity for offense for the other team here. Comets unable to exploit it. They all triple committed. Trash is going to have an open goal. Are you kidding me? We talked about it. They're going to have to communicate, but they triple committed. They triple committed in game 3. Oh my goodness.
I'm in shock. I am in pain. I mean, we've all been there. We all think we have the shot, but sometimes you have to be a bit more field aware. You have to see where your teammates are going. If there's a double commit on the front half, I get it. But all three basically right on top of each other, there is no excuse for that kind of play. And now we have Sleepy BP getting a demo on Undead. Comets right now really on their back foot, but there's plenty of game left to play. Good bump on Stoofy by Peak Legend there. Trash 50 by Undead. Ball's in the corner. Undead grabs some boost, trying to keep it down low, but Sleepy's already on top of him. It's back in the corner. No one's able to get it out. Stoofy pops it, booms it all the way upfield, gets it away from his half. Is trying to keep this aggression going, trying to find some sense of life, but Sleepy BP is on top of it. Undead just left staring at the ball like a zombie. Ball flying over the net there, and it's still in the Pandas' favor right now. What can they do to, and the Pandas, in the Bears' favor right now? Wow.
Stoofy takes control here. Sleepy popping up center. It's a little too far left to really offer a good offensive opportunity, but it leaves up a good pass. Trash setting it up. Peak already up, but gets dusted by Stoofy. Sleepy might be able to get a shot off the wall here, puts it on. Aspect getting the save, preventing the three-piece. You're seeing some life out of their defense here, but goodness, we need to see more offense out of this Comets team, pushing it down without a triple commit. Sleepy putting it off the backboard. Peak already up, putting it on net. Undead can't get up to it, and Peak getting their first goal of the game, equally spacing out the offense amongst all three as they each now have a goal. But with over half the game left, this could become a runaway here, Cole.
This game, I'd consider a runaway now because I feel like the Comets are just feeling lost on the field. Meanwhile, Sleepy BP is looking for his teammates way more often. Peak jumped up in the ball before it hit the corner because BP probably called out that's heading center immediately, anticipating where it was going to go, anticipating that the Comets weren't going to expect to be able to defend that pass, and Undead just not able to jump up high enough. Peak Legend, demo on Stoofy. Now Aspect looking for some momentum here, not enough pressure behind that ball, so Undead's jumping in on it. Undead demoed by Sleepy BP. Head taken off there. Now we have Aspect trying to help out Stoofy. Ball heading over to the side. Undead, ball side. Coming off the backboard, able to get a pop, able to keep it away. Sleepy looking for a touch here. Stoofy bounces off of Sleepy BP, but Trash sitting at center. Aspect chasing after the ball now, and now Sleepy BP is just keeping the Comets back on their half of the field, getting a nice little bump on the way out on Aspect. But look at the positioning of the Bears as well too. One of them is always back at net, and unfortunately, as I say that, Aspect is able to find the little eye of the needle to thread it right past Sleepy and Peak Legend.
That's got to be a clippable moment. Look at that Bears defense as the ball goes near post and unfortunately is unsavable. They had the great defensive rotation, but that shot was just too perfect to be able to be saved. Peak already up, drops at center. Sleepy and Trash, neither one of them really contesting here, finally gets the push. Trash shoving it into the corner, is going to get a second touch here. Off the wall, Sleepy's already up. Oh, it's going to be a wide right. Aspect able to take control. I thought we were going to see goal number 4 for the Bears there. The great passing play, the idea to not take the shot and send it to your teammate was just so ever present. It almost paid off. Peak already up. Puts it, it's going to bounce corner, go back high. Sleepy and Trash double commit, both popping up, leaving Peak in kind of a weird 1v2 situation. Gets bumped, able to get the light touch. Undead sends it. Peak still gets it up. Trash getting it over Aspect. Peak following. Nice little 1-2 combo here. Goes center. Trash. No! Oh, goodness. You know, this would be a great opportunity, Cole, if we could see a really nice off the corner pass to a teammate. This could be a nice offensive opportunity for the Bears.
Honestly, I'm anticipating that to happen as Trash Panda takes it off the side, off the pass from Peak Legend, and just while the Comets thought they had a good boom, Aspect chasing after that ball, Trash saw where it was going and just lined up that shot from half court. And we're looking at a 4-1 now. We're looking at a 3-0 possibility, and the series win going in favor of the Bears. 27 seconds left on the clock. I've seen stranger situations happen yesterday even. Stoofy, fantastic block there, but a double commit from Aspect and Undead there, able to clear the ball out. Trash Panda tries to put another shot on. Stoofy gets a savior. Stoofy, air dribble up in the air, might be looking to get a pass down to Aspect. No, instead Stoofy takes the shot and gets it right past Peak Legend. Just enough to get another point, but will it be enough to get them a lead in the game to tie it up to get into overtime? Or are they just planning for the next match at this point, trying to minimize damage?
It definitely seems like they're playing to minimize damage here. I don't know. There's a lot of viability within even 7 seconds, but as we bleed out of time here, yeah, it definitely has to be for morale. Going into the next game, knowing that you can put shots on target is doable. There is a way to win. Is definitely great to help the psyche of a team, because quite frankly, I mean, they let the Bears take 12 shots. They let the Bears take 12 shots. Are you kidding me? That is insane.
And I feel bad saying it, but Undead was just kind of caught in the net a lot of times. And folks, as we give game 3 to the Bears, keep in mind, this is a full series that we play. We play all 5 games here in MLE during the regular season. But now my question in the comments is, how are you going to adjust? What's your game plan going into the next 2 games? Because you can minimize damage, and every game counts to playoffs, every single one of them. And if you cannot catch up in 2 more games, if you cannot minimize the damage of this series win going in favor of the Bears, that might cost you a division win. That might cost you a play-in chance as well. Every game counts here in MLE, so you have to make it count now. Bears just doing a fantastic job, though. 4 goals, 3 of them coming off of assists. Fantastic work overall.
And it was great team play. Like I said, at one point, they had a goal per player. I mean, it was just... Ooh, hold on.
It was a goal per player, and you can see the Bears actively looking for each other more often. Peak is not carrying the team by himself anymore. But Sleepy and Trash Panda are working in tandem, setting Peak up for those shots, but also looking for each other as well, too. And that is such a huge difference maker. And unfortunately, it's also a question of salary. Like I said in the very beginning of the match, Peak and Sleepy are 12-5s. They are at the very top of their caliber. Sleepy missing the touch off the kickoff, but Trash Panda was able to get in there, but Undead booms it out, saves it, is now chasing after the ball. It's strong enough hit. There's Peak. Sends it up center, sends it off to the corner. No one's back at net right now. Stoofy looking at that touch from Peak Legend. Aspect cuts in, gets that touch. A little bit awkward there as he flips away and booms it up the field. Undead just trying to keep the Bears away from their half. Looking for a pass down to Stoofy. Stoofy almost gets a shot in, but Sleepy Beepy gets a save. Just popping it off the crossbar.
Now that I'm back from technical difficulties, unfortunately my furry friend nudged the cable for my head for my camera there, and it kind of messed up some of my audio stuff going on. But now that I'm back here, Peak putting it to the corner, takes it, gets a second touch. Is that on target? Oh my goodness! What a second touch! What a redirect! Peak putting on the Peak performance. Goodness!
Exclamation mark POTW, folks. You cannot get a better corner read than that. No one knew what was going on there. The only person who knew exactly where that ball was going was Peak, and he was just waiting for the defender to jump out in front of the net and realize no one was back post, just throwing them for a loop. And now I think he's going for a part 2, but now it's coming off the crossbar. Peak gets out of there. Trash was trying to take it down below, but now Sleepy Beepy looking for a chance here. Stoofy takes it right over him, right into the corner. But Trash Panda brings it right back. Undead right behind Stoofy. Gets a read, sends it off to the side. Undead just looking for bodies to knock him out of the way. Gets a demo on Trash Panda, but unfortunately, the Bears have possession. Peak almost finds the back of the net there, but Stoofy knocks it away. But now Trash Panda is there. Hits it off the crossbar. Peak is there once again. Sleepy Beepy stepping back. Aspect almost misses the touchdown. Stufi has come in to save the day, just trying to keep his team in this, just trying to keep some kind of defense on the field right now.
And Sleepy takes possession, might be able to go for the pop, goes for it, but Stufi cuts it out with the wall pinch there, pops it deep. Trash is going to have a second here to play defense. Undead's already there. Sleepy gets the light doink to get it over Stufi, gets the 50 to keep it out of position, keep it out of pressure, and to keep that Comets team from really being able to establish any form of presence. Sleepy's already up, Dust the shooter. Panda's there for the cleanup again. Oh my goodness, that's some deja vu. Panda just at the right place, right time once again to make sure they can capitalize on that goal opportunity there. And Cole, this we talked about this might not being every game matters, but goodness, it definitely seems like the Bears took that to heart.
Yeah, and I just need to shout out Trash Panda on this because he orchestrated that perfectly, just challenging Stufi for the ball, taking it off his hood, sending it up to the air, and Sleepy Beepy, by that time, noticed Peak was heading back, knew he was the only one up in the air, and sent that down. And Trash Panda, smart rotation there, goes towards the goal, trying to clear out the ball for the net, but instead just finds the ball coming towards him and says, I'll take it for myself then, and gets an easy pass to goal from Sleepy Beepy there. And now Peak Legend taking a pass from Trash Panda, just the love being shared and spread around on the Bears team right now.
And that's, you're right. I mean, Trash could have easily tried to put that on target, but opted and said, no, I'm going to get it past the defender. I'll set up Peak perfectly fine. I'm just here to win. And it definitely looks like this Bears team came to win today. Stufi getting an off the ceiling touch here. Trash playing smart, gets the catch. Sleepy's already up in the air, setting it deep. That's a shot opportunity, but Stufi's going to be able to get a light doink over to Aspect, who's waiting. Trash cutting it out. Peak's already up. Might be another shot. Unable to get the touch here. Stufi and Undead are stacked up right on top of each other, and they're doing that same double commit again. Aspect takes the shot. Oh, it goes a little wide. Aspect can't finish with the second touch. You know, we talked about it before, but it definitely seems like that Comets team maybe needs to spread out a little bit just to kind of get some better rotations going. Otherwise, they're going to double commit a few more times, and they're not going to be able to capitalize on their offensive opportunities.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot where one of the members of the team will have the ball, and there'll be someone right behind them within maybe two car distances away, which is way too close to play in threes. You have to play. The ideal way is to play in a cute triangle, just equal distance, but playing across from each other. They're playing diagonal from each other, but not on top of each other within like a few yards, because that just makes it easier for the other team to take possession and take it over you. Undead going for bumps, trying to force that ball to find its way to the back of the net, just making sure no one's around, but unfortunately, Sufi and Ascent cannot find the back of the net, and now Bears almost having another goal. And as we go down to 30 seconds, we're looking at a 4-0 for the Bears. Comets trying to keep this alive. Sleepy BP almost getting around three defenders, and Stufi getting a save just with a backflip. One of the more dangerous plays to be in. Undead going for the ball in the corner, sees it pop out from Peak. Just wants to get one goal, but Peak shuts down Undead, shuts down that Comet offense. And now, as the clock winds down, ball hitting the ground, that is a 4-0 in favor of the Bears, and just absolutely dominant performance from them this series.
I already put in exclamation point POTW, nominating one play earlier for play of the week, but I swear when I saw somebody's axles just get snatched there with a dribble play, I thought two more were coming along and we were going to see a true play of the week coming out of the back end of this game. Thankfully, a good defensive stop occurred, but I mean, that would have been demoralizing in all senses of the word. Goodness, I had my hand on my chest. I was relaxing. I was like, oh my God, somebody almost died today.
And it's hard not to say the Comets aren't trying to get wins out here, but it's hard to see that offensive momentum. They only have 4 shots, 1 shot from 2 of their players, 2 of them from Aspect, and then we have 8 Yes, 8 shots from the Bears as well too. It just feels like the Comets are very disjointed, unsure of what they're doing on the field, and it hurts to say it, but it just feels like the Bears are swarming around them and just ready to put them to sleep. The Comets are just dragging themselves down, and unfortunately, it's just their rotational play, the way they act on defense, and not able to put shots in on net or even get a good offensive push is to blame right now. Just really difficult to find some momentum, but they have one more game to play. They have one more chance in order to at least cancel the series sweep that the Bears are looking at. The Bears just need to do what they do best right now. As we go into game 5 here, and Sleepy BP takes control and sends it up to the side. Do you imagine the Comets are going to wake up for this one and at least get one game under their belt?
Man, I really hope so. I mean, I just saw Peak get 2 back-to-back saves, and there's going to be a shot from Peak from the midfield. I mean, Peak, I know they were only credited with 1 save, but that they literally had to block 2 shots within the first 20 seconds of the game. Recovered, got a little bit of boost, took the midfield shot, and I mean, I wanted to say yes, the Comets need to regain. They need to get at least 1 game, save themselves at least a little bit on the scoreboard, maybe get at least a little bit higher up in the standings, but losing all 5 here seems like a possibility for the Comets if they can't figure out this Bears defense.
And also how to set up for their own offensive push as well too, because one thing during that shot from Peak is just waiting at the back post patiently right now, just jumping, waiting for the Comets to try to shoot the ball so he can get a save. But we see all the Comets just pushing forward, and especially that shot from Peak, it just came straight out there. All 3 of the Comets players were in the front field in a line straight up to each other. Trash Panda putting a shot in the corner pocket, right past the defender there. Stoofy just kind of lost in the middle of the net.
That was top bins. That was top bins. I'm flabbergasted. Trash taking the 50, losing it to the back corner here. They demo out Stoofy. Sleepy playing the aggressor here. Trash sends it up. Peak might be able to beat Stoofy. Stoofy gets the touch, but can't put any power behind it, letting Sleepy get the easy follow-up touch here. Aspect unable to contest here. Stoofy pushing up. Aspect is waiting down. Might be a blind spot for the Bears, but can't put it on target. I thought that was probably going to be a goal, but no shot taken. Just decides to keep control. They put it on target. Peak with another save. Peak playing absolute lockdown defense this game, and I can't believe how one-sided this looks. I know it's 2-0, but it definitely feels like this should be more like 5-0 right now.
It really feels like that, and the unfortunate thing is I'm checking boosts as everyone plays. Stoofy's the only one keeping his boost up for the most part, but it's hard to make an offensive push when you're by yourself against 3 other defenders. Aspect just booming the ball towards the net. Peak sends it off to the corner once more. I'm seeing issues with like boost conservation. That's a hard word to say when you are casting live. You're trying to play in a good rotation. You're trying to get passes set out to your teammate, but then you double commit just like that, getting too close to the ball, trying to just make something work. And when you force an offensive push, when you force a play, you put yourself in a worse position. Now Stoofy looks to get a pass out, trying to get it down to Undead or Aspect. Aspect misses a touch there, but that might be a saving grace as he gets a 50 off the Bears. Gets demoed by Sleepy BP though, spoke too soon. Trash Panda has the control. Stoofy pops it up onto the corner, and Aspect looking to get a corner pocket shot, but instead hits off the backboard, and Stoofy flies right past it. Undead doing a back pass, sends it off to the corner, trying to get it over to Aspect's side. Aspect finds the opening in the defense there, but Sleepy BP just anticipating it, gets it away. Stoofy pops it over the backboard now. He's trying to get back to Undead, but cannot find it. Back to Aspect, who finds the back of the net. 1 goal out of how many shot opportunities were that? 7.
I thought Stoofy had the best shot opportunity earlier, but opted for the backboard touch. And I'm not going to lie, that might be half the reason why they're not punishing on the goals because they're not taking some of those harder ankle shots. They're taking more of the low-risk plays, and those low-risk plays aren't paying off because this Bears defense is just locked in. I know they finally got their goal, but you're right. They took 7 shots to get there. And I mean, quite frankly, the Bears have been far more active with 2 shots to 2 goals. I mean, it's just, they're lethal when they take their shots. Peak, getting the 50, pops it back to Sleepy. Peak's already up, opts to catch it, gets demoed by Stoofy. Aspect setting it center, Sleepy putting it off the backboard. Panda's up, oh, it's a save. I thought that was gonna be 3-0, but Bear's still in danger. Peak setting it across, Aspect getting the touch, pushing it downfield. Undead's looking for the bump, can't get it, can't push Sleepy out of position. Panda unable to touch it here, sends it center. Aspect's gonna have to touch it, have to stall. Keeps the push, keeps the play alive. It goes across, trash is up. It's going to be a Stoofy Panda 50 here again. Goes up the wall. 30 seconds left, Cole. Do you see the Comets being able to get the equalizer, honestly?
I can see it happening, but honestly, the way I've been watching the Comets play, Undead diving in for demos, and just a lot of frustration coming from the Comets offense right now. Trash Panda almost teardrops it in, Aspect of the save. Peak Legend sends it off to Sleepy Beepy, but Stoofy gets in the way, sends it upfield. Aspect and Undead, one of them needs to get a big boom here. Peak Legend gets a soft touch, gets right in the way, and that is a 5-0 sweep in favor of the Bears. Just an absolute dominant performance. And Peak might have been the highest scorer of the game, but we cannot count out how well Trash Panda played, how powerful and strong the passes from Sleepy Beepy was, but also just how smart the touches and the cohesion between the Bears.
Even on that last play, one thing that I noticed, they didn't stagger. They didn't have one person slightly back. All 3 were in line with the ball. And as soon as it got past them, it was over. There was no one that could take the long distance shot, no one that could keep it up, no one that could keep the play alive. They didn't have spacing once again. Like, it killed them even on the last play, even the last shot opportunity, because if, like, let's say just one of them was one boost pad depth further, it would have easily opened up a chance to maybe put it into OT and steal game 5.
That, in fact, I'd say game 5 was probably the best they played, even if it was frustrating to see them all diving in, all pushing in a straight line towards the ball, trying to force a demo to get some kind of opening without any kind of possession of the ball in general, just throwing the ball away and booming it out a lot. It is very frustrating to see, but I think it also speaks to the story of salary. 12 5s from Bears, 2 of them were 12 5s. Only Trash Panda was at the lowest at 10-5, while Stoofy at the highest out of 12 was playing with 2 other 10-5s. One of them recently ranked up to AL and now needs to get used to that pace of how AL plays. A huge teaching opportunity for the Comets, but I'm also wondering, is it a little too late? With that, folks.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
With that, folks, so I do want to shout out the Bears once again for a fantastic showing of a 5-0 sweep, and remind you back home to check out our sponsors over at Guardian Pro Line, where you can get premier MLE merch of your favorite franchise, of the organization in general. Pick up beanies, jerseys, hoodies, whatever you need. Hit !ProLine in the chat to check that out. Along with that, our own series today was sponsored by Sprocket, our premier scrimbot built and developed by people on our own organization. Hit !Sprocket to check out some of their own merch in order to support the teams who are working hard to keep everyone in line, to check over everyone's skill level and teach each other and learn how to play this game and what level everyone deserves to be at. Thank you so much, Sprocket and Guardian Pro Line, for sponsoring us. And Boz, anything else you would like to say at the end here?
You know, the Bears played a fantastic series, and nothing should ever take away from that. That they played absolutely great rotations.
That 12-8 standing record now is going to shoot them straight up to the top, and I cannot wait to see what power rankings look like when we come back from our bye week after next week. But with that, folks, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Coming up next, we have Hawks at the Knights. setting up in Foundation League 3, and you will be hosted by the wonderful Leechy and Shuckle as well. Coming up next, don't go away.